Hey Tom,
Paleo, what's going on, man?
I just watched this awesome new show called Over the Garden Wall. You should definitely check it out.
Oh yeah? Sure, I'll definitely check it out. Hello?
So what'd you think of Over the Garden Wall?
What? No, I haven't watched it yet.
Well, hurry up and watch it. It's really good.
Alright, I'll do it, jeez. Hello?
Did you watch it yet?
God damn it!
Did you watch it yet?
No, Paleo, I've not watched it yet.
Did you watch it?
No.
Did you watch it?
No.
Did you watch it?
No.
One eternity later.
Yes?
God damn it, Tom! Watch fucking Over the Garden Wall!
Okay, fine. Christ, you are so impatient.
Fuck you!
Rude. Over the Garden Wall is one of the coolest new animations I've been exposed to in 2014. A miniseries that aired on Cartoon Network, Over the Garden Wall is based on a short animation project called Tome of the Unknown, with both the short and the resulting miniseries being created by Patrick McHale, previously best known for his work on The Misadventures of Flapjack and Adventure Time. The show follows a pair of brothers, the older, timid and worrisome Wirt, and the younger, spontaneous and outgoing Greg, as they try to find their way out of a magical forest simply referred to as Unknown. During their travels, they meet an eccentric old woodsman, a talking bluebird named Beatrice, and are pursued by an evil entity known only as the Beast. The story carries themes of facing your fears, growing up, and self-confidence, delivered through an eccentric, magical world. The first thing I noticed about Over the Garden Wall was the visuals. The art direction in the show is amazing, a mesmerizing exercise in contrast. The character models have been reduced to their most basic shapes, the epitome of minimalism, allowing them to animate with a high degree of fluidity, while their environments ooze with a near excessive amount of detail, the unknown forest laden with intricate soft shading and exquisite attention to small visual flourishes. The results are characters that pop against their environments, the simplistic, childlike visualizations of the main characters navigating such a dark, foreboding environment, only further driving home the ominous feeling of disjointment and the lack of belonging that the story itself tells. Equally as impressive are the cast of characters in the show. For the most part, they're all written incredibly well and are a pleasure to watch. Greg is a fantastically written child character, his blind naivete and boundless optimism very much feeling like it comes from a little kid. Conversely, Wirt is portrayed as the struggling adolescent, looking down on his brother's childish antics as annoying, and feeling a sense of elder responsibility for him. As we get to know Wirt better, we begin to see how the weight of impending adulthood weighs down his thoughts, and as a result he does his best to approach situations with caution and what he sees as adult-like responsibility. And, like any teenager, Wirt worries about how others perceive him, and has issues of self-confidence. Beatrice plays as a fantastic counterpoint to Wirt, being far more reckless and gung-ho, with little patience and often a tinge of cynicism to her interactions with others. She initially patronizes Wirt for his indecisiveness and timid nature, but comes to recognize and appreciate the positive traits of his character as the situations they're thrown into begins to bring them to the surface as the show progresses. Some of my favorite aspects of the characterization in the show come out in the dialogue. There are some great moments of back and forth between the characters that do a lot to endear the cast to the viewer.
Okay, Wirt, I'll admit it. You seem like a pushover, but you're not.
Oh?
Deep down in your heart, you're a stubborn jerk. When are you gonna give this up?
Maybe never. Maybe I'll never give this up.
It's an important thing to do in any story, but even more critical to do effectively when you're working with such a short runtime like Over the Garden Wall is. I was getting a bit of a Gravity Falls vibe from the show here and there during these moments, and was having a hard time pegging why that was, until I realized that the character archetypes and dynamics of Over the Garden Wall are very similar to Gravity Falls. Dipper is a similar worrying pseudo-adult like Wirt is, both Mabel and Greg are childlike and eccentric, and Beatrice brings a bit of Grunkle Stan's blunt cynicism to his character interactions. Don't misunderstand though, I don't think Over the Garden Wall was blatantly copying Gravity Falls. None of the characters feel like clones of each other. Each has a very strong sense of individual identity. It's just that they're both pulling from similar archetypes and dynamics. The dynamic works great in Gravity Falls, and it works just as well here in Over the Garden Wall. From a thematic standpoint, growth is a big aspect of this series. The entirety of the main cast are dynamic throughout this series, the unknown testing them and pushing them farther than they're comfortable. In particular, Over the Garden Wall examines the growth of Wirt. Him being on the cusp of adulthood, the perfect excuse to use the fantastic happenings of the unknown to examine the turmoil and lack of confidence one has when facing adult responsibilities. His growth is both very literal, as facing the horrors of the unknown forces him to find his courage to protect his brother, but it also speaks more subtly to him juggling his perceived responsibility as a borderline adult. And of course, all these also thematically represent change and growth as concepts in general that resonate with the viewer. By the end, the group really does feel like they've come a long way. My feelings on the actual narrative of Over the Garden Wall are a bit mixed. Overall, I really like the tale that is presented, but it's marred with a bit of an affliction that seems all too common on Cartoon Network. The overarching storyline of Wirt and Greg's journey through the unknown and the mystery of the forest as a location never fails to intrigue, but the per-episode happenings sometimes fell a bit flat for me, relying on the popular, inane bizarreness that Adventure Time popularized to carry them in light of any true narrative purpose or connection. Chapter 3 in particular seems to suffer from this most notably. I really don't understand why so many shows feel the need to copy this kind of atmosphere, and it seems to run rampant on the shows Cartoon Network tends to pick up. Most likely because CN itself is attempting to capitalize on Adventure Time's success with similar feeling programming. But that atmosphere is Adventure Time's shtick, and Over the Garden Wall has its own flavor that is just as appealing in its own way, and it's at its best when it's being true to itself. Why soften that impact with this identity theft? However, I will say that by the end of the third chapter, this aspect stopped really bothering me. Whether the show started reeling in a bit at this point, or if I just acclimated to its style of storytelling, I'm not sure. It was probably a combination of both. Regardless, this is largely a personal complaint, and a minor one at that. The only reason it even bothered me so much as it did was because it's just a symptom of Cartoon Network in general. By the end of the show, Over the Garden Wall utilizes the flexibility its strangeness allows to powerful effects and delivers a compelling story. The best part about the narrative in Over the Garden Wall, though, is that it treats you like an adult. This is a show that isn't afraid to keep some secrets and leave the audience in the dark at times. It starts with a completely cold opening and paces itself in revealing both the motivations of its characters and the mechanisms its world operates on, keeping you intrigued from episode to episode as you continually desire to learn more. The show is a fantastic reveal near the end that is really clever, and lets all the pieces that it's been revealing thus far fall into place right as the climax of the story begins, allowing you to fully enjoy the big finale, fully empowered in your newfound context of who everyone is and what they want. Everything from the beginning that had you scratching your head is elegantly contextualized in the final episode, instantly elevating the show from merely good to fantastic. Going back and watching it again brings a new level of understanding and clarity to a lot of what you merely wrote off as pointless fluff, giving the majority of the story an even stronger sense of cohesion. If I had to make a legitimate complaint concerning Over the Garden Wall, which admittedly is hard to do, I'd have to go with the fact that the show has nary a hint of an epilogue when everything is finally said and done. We spend 10 chapters getting to know Wirt, Greg, and Beatrice, as well as a colorful supporting cast, and are invested in their journey, and the entire climax, while big on energy and incredibly well done, feels like it goes by way too fast. And while it solidifies the growth of the characters and their personal journeys, it kind of skips over an essential question that the show itself had been asking since the beginning. I won't go into specifics here to avoid potential spoilers, but I think you'll know what I'm referring to once you watch it for yourself. I'd wager this problem comes down to timing issues more than anything else, though. Each chapter of Over the Garden Wall was only around 11 minutes in length, and there are only 5 episodes, each containing 2 chapters. While I will admit that the show on the whole does a stellar job at managing its pacing, telling stories, and developing its characters in a manner that transcends its runtime, there are moments when the time crunch becomes apparent. And unfortunately for me, the ending was one of the most obvious. I really wish chapters 9 and 10 could have been an hour-long special, allowing for a bit more exploration into the interesting lore of the unknown forest, and a bit more resolution to these characters that we've come to care about. Of course, when my biggest complaint about a series is, I wish there was more of it, I think it's clear that we've got a winner on our hands. Over the Garden Wall is a fantastic success and a beautiful example of modern animation, taking its place at the table with the rest of the current animation staples we've been enjoying. If you haven't seen it yet, and really, I've put it off so long, I'm sure at this point only a few of you haven't, you owe it to yourself to check this one out. So that's all I got for this video. Give it a thumbs up if you thought it was cool, or give it a thumbs down if you think it's better off being fed to the beast. Have you guys checked out Over the Garden Wall yet? Let me know what you thought about it by leaving a comment down below. Or, if you haven't seen it yet, let me know if this video got you charged up to check it out. And speaking of charging, if you want a sweet portable solution to keeping your mobile devices powered on the go, check out the Portable Power Pack by this week's sponsor, Vivis. It's a pretty sweet portable battery pack that can charge 2 devices at once, like your cell phone or tablet. Most phones have a battery size of between 1500 and 3000 milliamp hours, but the Vivis battery pack has a massive 10,000 milliamp hour battery to give you multiple recharges per use. Check it out for yourself at the Amazon link in the description below. So that's it. Thank you guys all so much for watching. As always, this channel stays alive and I get fed through the generous support of you guys, the viewers. If you want to make a difference, check out the link below to help support this channel and become a patron to get access to tons of exclusive stuff. Or you can buy a shirt from my merch shop, or sign up for an Audible trial via my affiliate link in the description. They give me a small kickback for everyone who signs up. And even if you can't hook me up with a couple bucks so I can nab a coffee for those long, lonely nights of editing, the best way to support me is, of course, to subscribe. Until next time, I'm Tommy Oliver, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Later.